Hey friends, what's up? And welcome back to Babylon Talmud. Today we're studying Daf Chav Ches, Daf 28 of Masechta Taanis. Friends, I don't know if you remember, last week I was a shtickle sick, a shtickle under the weather. Now, I'll tell you something. Yesterday I got the booster vaccine. I was really sick. Oh my gosh, dude, last week was a joke. Alright, I couldn't speak a little bit. What do you want me to tell you? But, dude, this was sick, man. I mean, dude, I don't get sick, man. You know me for like 2 years now. When did I ever get sick, friends? When did I ever get sick? Thank God I don't freaking get sick, man. Since like the beginning of Babylon Talmud. And then all of a sudden, last week, Pashit lost my voice. Then I get this booster thing, and like, wow, man, freaking took me for a ride. Went to, like proper sick, man. I can't remember the last time I was like proper sick, like pass out at 5 in the afternoon, headache, all that stuff. So, everyone get your boosters, I guess. Whoa, no. We don't take any positions here at Babylon Talmud. We don't take any positions here at Babylon Talmud. Friends, we're moving on. Daf Chav Ches. Okay, well, let's get started with that intro. So we're going to talk about the Maimados. We're going to talk about the Zman Atzik Kohanim V'Ha'om, these people who donated wood to the Beis HaMikdash. So friends, very, very exciting stuff. Who's ready to join me? Wow, the good thing about this is I think it's like this thing is basically over. I was sick for like, I don't know, a day. Yesterday I got the thing and I was completely fine. Today, I didn't sleep much last night, but that was just my own choice. And then at some point today it just kind of kicked in. Anyways, let's go weiter. But I slept for a little bit now and now I feel like okay. So, excusez-moi. Parsha Gedola Kornosa b'shnayim uah b'shachus v'musaf v'mincha korn alpien chulei. All right. So the Mishnah had said that if it's a large section of Torah, so then you read it with 2 people. Okay. And we said that at Shachris, Musaf, and Mincha we read it by heart. Like what's the deal? Kind of. So they want to know. Heichi ka'amai. What are we talking about? Are we saying b'shachris uv'musaf Korin Osa B'Sefer? Are we saying that at Shachris and Musaf we read from the Torah, Uvemincha, and in the afternoon service Korin Osa Al Peh, Kekorin Shema, we read it by heart as though we are reading the Shema? Or maybe this is what it means. B'Shachris Korin Osa B'Sefer, that at Shachris we read from the Torah, from the scroll. Uvmusaf Mincha Korin Osa Al Peh. And in Musaf and in Mincha, we read by heart. Kikorin Shema, like we're reading the Shema. Tashma, common here. Haha, it's funny. Kikorin Shema, then we say Tashma. Very, very fair. Very, very funny. The Taanis, as we learn in the Brayso, B'shachus uv Musaf, Nechnas leVeis HaKnesses, says that in Shachris and in Musaf, they go to the synagogue, B'korin, and they read from the Torah, Kederech shekorin kol hashana, like they read the entire year. They read from the Torah. Okay. Uve mincha, and at mincha, Yachid kori osa al peh, an individual reads the sections of the Torah by heart. Rabbi Yossi says, Rabbi Yossi v'chi yachid yachol likros the Torah al peh b'tzibur. Frekt Rabbi Yossi. Rabbi Yossi asks, what is an individual permitted to simply read sections of the Torah for a congregation by heart? Everybody would just read it by themselves, by heart, as though they're reading Kriyas Shema. The Mishnah had said, that any day where they say Hallel, so then there's no Maimid, there's no, no fasting and reading from the Torah, that whole thing. Ma efesh bein ze loze. So what's the difference between these things? And so Rashi Taka says, what does it mean? Ma'hefesh ben zelaze. What's the difference between these things? Ma'ishna de korban eitzim dochi ma'imad de ne'ila u'ma'imad de mincha lo dochi. So Rashi actually makes it sound like it's talking about, not necessarily talking about Hallel, but it's saying that we had said in the Mishnah that whenever there is a korban eitzim, so dochi ma'imad de ne'ila, so then there's no ma'imad at the ne'ila, but there would be a ma'imid at mincha. So answer the Gemara, alalu divrei teire, v'alalu divrei sofim, because mincha is mida oraisa, which is super interesting, right? Rashi says that halalu divrei Torah mincha kedaminu bebrachos Yitzchak Avinu tikin tfilas mincha, right? That Yitzchak Avinu was established mincha. So interesting. It sounds like what Rashi is saying is really in explaining the Gemara that mincha is actually mida oraisa. Very, very interesting. Whereas ne'ila is midrabanan. So therefore, we could say that that atzei kohanim is doche ne'ila, but not mincha. All right, very interesting stuff. So atzei kohanim ve'am v'chulei uah. So now explaining basically these times that these individual families would donate wood for temple use. The rabbis taught, what's the story with this donations of wood? They said, when the people from the exile came back to Eretz Yisrael by Ezra, when they rebuilt the temple, they did not find wood in the Mistama, I guess the Lishkas Eitzim, right? There was no wood for the Mizbeach. And these families, these individuals, they donated wood on their own. And the prophets among them made the following stipulation: that even if the office of the wood was filled up with wood, i.e., there was no need for more, they had plenty, nonetheless, these families have the ability to donate wood and receive that, have that honor, right? Because they stepped up to the plate when there was no wood, so even when there's plenty of wood, they could still have the honor of donating wood to the holy temple. Shenemar, as the pasuk says, "V'agorolu sipanu akor b'nei eitzim," and the lots we drew on the sacrifice of the wood. Hakohanim v'halavim v'ha'am, the priests, the Levites, and the nation. L'havi l'veis Elokeinu l'veis avosenu, that the house of our God, the house of our fathers. Every single year at specific time, Levair al Mizbach Hashem Elokeinu kakasu b'Torah, to burn on the altar of the Eibishter, as is written in the Holy Torah. Okay, Givaldik. Okay, and with them would be Kohanim, with the Mishmaros, Kohanim, Levim, and with these donations. Tana Rabban, and the rabbis taka taught, Ma hoyu bnei gonvei Eli uvnei kotzei ktzis. What's this? Who are these thieves of pestles and the makers of these fig cakes? No, what is this? So, and for the Gemara, they said, Pamachas gazo amalchus gzera al Yisrael. One time, the government, they made a decree against the Yidden, shelo yaviu eitzim l'mayroche, that they should not bring any wood for the altar, and that they may not bring their first fruits to Jerusalem. Right? Of course, every year when there's new fruits, particular fruits, I think specifically the Shiva Saminim, so you tie like some kind of rubber band around it, and you set it aside, and you bring it to Jerusalem. So they were saying, you're not allowed to do that. You can't bring wood for the altar. You can't bring the first fruits to Jerusalem. And they put guards on the highways to Jerusalem. Similar to how Yeravam ben Navat put guards to prevent the Yidden from their being Ola Regel, from being festival pilgrims to Jerusalem. Ma'osu ksherin v'yarechet shaboso ador. So what did the Givaldige fellows in the generation do? So what they did was they took baskets of first fruits and then they hid them, but they basically then put a top layer of like figs. Vinotlum, and they took these baskets that had the bikurim on the bottom and figs on the top, ve'eli al kisvein, and a pestle on their shoulders, v'chem shegiu etzel pruzdos, and when the guards encountered them, amulayim le'echanatem holchin, and the guard said, hey Jews, where are you going? Omrin loyin lasu shnei gulei dveila b'machtesha shilfanenu. Oh, us, we're just going to make fig cakes. We have a mortar up ahead. We have our pestle over here and our figs in these baskets. We're just making fig cakes. Ve'eli sha'al kisvenu, with the pestle that's on our shoulders. Kim sha'avru me'en itrum b'salim ve'evim li'Yerushalayim. And once they snuck past the guards, then they took the fruits to Jerusalem, and they brought their bikurim. Tana Heinen b'nei Salmoya Natufti, and this is very similar to the story of Salmoya Natufti. Tana Rabbanan Mayin b'nei Salmoya Natufti. Who are these children of Salmoya Natufti? So Amru, they said, Pamachas gozo amalchus gezerah al Yisrael. One time, the government made an evil decree against the Yidden, shelo yaviu eitzim l'mayroche, that the Yidden are not allowed to bring wood for the altar. And they put guards on the ways, on the roads, so that nobody should be taking wood to the Beis HaMikdash for the altar. Just like Yerovam ben Navat put guards on the roads to prevent the festival pilgrims, to prevent people from going to Jerusalem for the festivals. So what did the fearers of sin do in that generation? They did was they took their wood and they made their wood into ladders, and then they carried the ladders on their shoulders, and they went to walk towards Jerusalem. And then when they got to the guards, the guard said to them, friends, where are you going with your ladders? They said, we are just going to bring birds from the dovecote, and we're going to use these ladders to climb up and chop the birds. And then once they got past the guards, they dismantled the ladders, made them into wood that they could then transport to Jerusalem and use as wood for the Mizbeach Baleim. And regarding these people were Moser Nefesh for Bikurim and for the wood for the altar. So it says Zecher Tzadik Livrache, that we remember a righteous fellow for blessing. Yerovam ben Navat v'chaverim, and on Yerovam ben Navat and his colleagues, Nemar, it says V'shem Yershoim Yirkov, that the name of Nudniks will rot. So, friends, let's try to be Zecher Tzadik Livracha and not V'shem Yershoim Yirkov. Okay, Givaldik. The Mishnah had said Be'esrim Bo, that on the 20th day of what? Of I think. B'nei Pachas Moav ben Yehuda. It was the family of Pachas Moav ben Yehuda Tana. B'nei Pachas Moav ben Yehuda heinen b'nei David ben Yehuda. Divrei Meir. So Meir says that the Pachas Moav ben Yehuda is the same as David ben Yehuda. Okay, which was listed in the Mishnah. Okay. Rabbi Yossi Omer heinen b'nei Yoav ben Tzuria. So Rabbi Yossi says that Pachas Moav ben Yehuda is the children of Yoav ben Tzuria. Okay, the Mishnah continued Be'esrim Be'elul, on the 20th of Elul, Bnei Odin ben Yehuda v'chulei were the children of Odin ben Yehuda. Tanu Rabbanan, the rabbis taught Bnei Odin ben Yehuda, Heinen Bnei David ben Yehuda, Rabbi Yehuda. It says Rabbi Yehuda that Odin ben Yehuda is the same thing as David ben Yehuda. Okay, Rabbi Yossi Omer, Heinen Bnei Yoav ben Surya. It says Rabbi Yossi that the children of Odin ben Yehuda are the same as the children of Yoav ben Surya. Alright, sounds very interesting. Bachas b'Tevis, on the first of Tevis, Shavu b'nei Parush Shnia Chulei, the children of Parush, they came back a second time. Mani Masnisin, who is the author of our Mishnah? Lo Reb Meir, v'lo Reb Yehuda, v'lo Reb Yossi. Our Mishnah must not be neither Reb Meir, nor Reb Yehuda, nor Reb Yossi. Reb Meir, if it's Reb Meir, lesni Shavu b'nei David ben Yehuda Shnia. If it's Reb Meir, according to Reb Meir, the children of David ben Yehuda went twice, right? It says in the Mishnah that Bnei David ben Yehuda, but Reb Meir also had said that the Pachas Moav ben Yehuda was also David ben Yehuda. And V'lo Reb Yehuda, where am I? Fine. So if it's Reb Meir, lesni Shavu b'nei David ben Yehuda Shnia. Reb Yehuda, if it's Reb Yehuda, lesni Shavu b'nei David ben Yehuda Shnia. He also says that David ben Yehuda went twice because he says that Odin ben Yehuda was David ben Yehuda, and so there was Odin ben Yehuda and David ben Yehuda. Well, he's saying Odin ben Yehuda is David ben Yehuda, and the Mishnah also says that David ben Yehuda went, which means that Memele David ben Yehuda went twice. If it's Rabbi Yossi says that both Pachas Moav ben Yehuda as well as Odin ben Yehuda are both the children of Yoav ben Surya, which means that Yoav ben Surya went twice. Okay, though, okay. Meaning it sounds like, our Mishnah says that Parush Bnei Parush, they went twice. So the thing is, according to Reb Meir, according to Reb Yehuda, and according to Reb Yossi, there were also others that went twice. Right? According to Reb Meir and according to Reb Yehuda, Bnei David ben Yehuda went twice. According to Reb Yossi, Bnei Yoav ben Surya went twice. So the Olam Reb Yossi, really the author of our Mishnah is Take Reb Yossi, V'trei Tanoia, leave it to Reb Yossi, and it's Taka two Tanoim according to Reb Yossi. One of them says that, according to one opinion, the Bnei Yoav ben Surya went twice. According to the other one, only the Bnei Parush went twice. Alright, what do you want me to tell you? Let's go weiter. On the first of Teves, there was no Maimed because it was Rosh Chodesh Chanukah, which means that, right, there was Rosh Chodesh, so there was Hallel. It was also Musaf. There was also the Zman Atzei Kohanim V'Ha'om that day. So therefore, Memele, there was no Maimed. So Amalei Makshisha B'Ei Rav Chizda de Rav Ashi. So it says Makshisha B'Ei Rav Chizda de Rav Ashi. Ma'ishna Hallel de Dochi Didei, Ma'ishna Musaf de Lo Dochi Didei. So fact, Makshisha B'Ei Rav Chizda to Rav Ashi says, one second. When there's Hallel, so then the Maimed of Shachris, right? You say Hallel at Shachris, and the Maimed of Shachris is pushed off. But Umayshna Musaf, when there's Musaf, the Lo Dachi Didei, it doesn't push off the Maimed of Musaf, rather it pushes off the Maimed of Mincha. Because the Mishnah says that whenever there was whenever there was Musaf, so then there's no Maimed at Mincha. But what about Musaf? If we're saying that, right, how come when it comes to Hallel, which is at Shachris, it's Docha the Maimed of Shachris, yet when there's Musaf, it's not Docha the Maimed of Musaf, it's Docha the Maimed of Mincha. Alright? So, Amal Rav Ashi, Hasha Delav Tidei Dochi, Tidei Lo Kol Sheken. Says Rav Ashi, one second. If when there's Musaf, there's no Maimed at Mincha, Memele, there's also not going to be a Maimed at Musaf either. Amalei Hachi Kaminalach, to which Makshisha B'Ei Rav Chizda responds to Rav Ashi and he says, no, this is what I'm saying. Lo lidche elo didei. We should say that it should only be doche the Maimed of Musaf and not the Maimed of Mincha. So Amalei Ik Reb Yossi Dekai Kavosach. So Rav Ashi says that Taka Reb Yossi agrees with you that it would be doche the Maimed of Musaf but not the Maimed of Mincha. The Tanya, as we learned by Rav Yossi, Omer says Rav Yossi, Koyom sheyesh bo Musaf yesh bo Maimed. Any day that there is Musaf, there is also a Maimed. Alright? Maimed demai. Which Maimed are we saying that there is a that whenever there's a Musaf, there's also this Maimed. Ilema Maimed de Shachris. If we're saying the Ma'amid of Shachris, that basically whenever there is Musaf, there's also a Ma'amid at Shachris, well, the Tanakama would agree with that as well. Rabbi Yossi is arguing with the Tanakama. The Tanakama would agree that if there's Musaf, then there's going to be a Ma'amid at Shachris. So what's Rabbi Yossi disagreeing with? Ma'amid de Musaf. So if we say that we're talking about the Ma'amid of Musaf, right? So Ma'amid de Musaf, if we're saying that when there's a Musaf, so then we still do the Ma'amid of Musaf, but Tidei Nami Lo Dachi, what? That it's not even going to be Doche, its own Ma'amid, right? When there's a Musaf, you're still going to be doing the Ma'amid of Musaf? No way. El Mincha. So what? So then are we saying that it's going to be, that you're going to do the Ma'amid of Mincha, but Korban Eitzim Dachi? But one second, when there's a Korban Eitzim, it's Doche Mincha. So Memele, when there's a Korban Musaf, it should also be Doche Mincha. El Lav de Ne'ilah. No, so it means that even when there's a Korban Musaf, still you would do the Ma'amid at Ne'ilah, Shmamina, Dide Dachi, Delav Dide Lo Dachi, Shmamina. So we see that according to Rabbi Yossi, that while Musaf is going to be Doche, the Ma'amid of Musaf, it is not Doche, the Ma'amid of Ne'ilah, and the Ne'ilah would still be in place. Okay, so we see that Rabbi Yossi also holds that even though the Musaf is going to be Doche, the Ma'amid of Musaf, it won't necessarily be Doche the other Ma'amados. Alright. Friends, you get the kasha? Let's also say that there was no Ma'amid on the first of Nisan. Just like we said in the first of Teves, there's no Ma'amid because there's Hallel for Rosh Chodesh, and there's Musaf there's Hallel for Rosh Chodesh, but also because of Hanukkah. I think that's really the main one, as we're going to see in a minute. But also there's a Musaf, and also Zmanatzei Kohanim. So let's say also that on the first of Nisan there's no Ma'amid because there's Hallel, Korban Musaf, and also Musaf, Korban Eitzim, as well as Korban Eitzim. Amar Rav is also Meres Hallel de Breish Yarcho Lav de Raise. So it says Rav is so Meile, the fact that we don't say this, the fact that we don't say that on Rosh Chodesh Nisan there's no Ma'amid, so it must mean that the Hallel doesn't count, that the Hallel is not, the Hallel of Rosh Chodesh must not be Midah Oraisa. Rabbi Yochanan Mishum Reb Shimon ben Yotzadok. That says Rabbi Yochanan in the name of Reb Shimon ben Yotzadok, Shmona Asar Yom Bashane Yachid Gomer Boenes Hallel. That there are 18 instances throughout the year that a fellow says Hallel, Ve'eluhein, or completes the Hallel, the entire Hallel. Ve'eluhein, these are them, Shmona Yimei Chag, the 8 days of Sukkot and Shmini Atzeres, U'shmona Simei Chanukah, as well as the 8 days of Chanukah, V'yom Tiv Arishin Shal Pesach, and the first day of Pesach, V'yom Tov Shel Atzeres. I think that I don't think that the Gemara explains why on Pesach it's only the first day. Basically, we only say complete the Hallel if there's like some kind of chiddush or whatever, right? So, for example, on Sukkot, there's new korbanos every single day, right? I think on Hanukkah they say that the miracle sort of continued for each and every day. That every day was a chiddush, its own chiddush. Whereas on Pesach, basically you say Hallel, the whole Hallel the first day, but after that we only say the half Hallel. So fine. So V'yom Tov Arishin Shel Pesach, the first day of Pesach, V'yom Tov Shel Atzeres, as well as Shavuos U'Bagola outside of Eretz Yisrael, where there's Yom Tov Sheni Shel Galios, Esim Ve'echad. There are 21 days where they say Hallel, the complete Hallel every year. Ve'eluhein, these are them Tisha Yemei Chag, 9 days of Sukkot, U'shmonos Yemei Chanukah, the 8 days of Chanukah, U'shnei Yom Rishonim Shel Pesach, the first 2 days of Pesach, U'veiz Yom Tovim Shel Atzeres, and the 2 days of Shavuos. That's 21 days. Rav Ikla Lebavel. So we don't include over there Rosh Chodesh. Rav Ikla Lebavel. Rav Taka visited Bavel. Chazinu. Taka very interesting. Visiting Bavel. Taka lived in Bavel. Lived in Surah. So interesting. Anyways, Chazinu de Kakaru. Hallel B'Isharcha Yitaka saw that they were saying Hallel on Rosh Chodesh. Sover Lafsokinu, he had the Havmin, and he thought maybe to stop them, because Rosh Chodesh is not included in these 18 days, or 21 days. Came the Chazal, the Kamedal Yedalugay, since once he noticed that they weren't saying the entire Hallel, only a partial Hallel, so he says, I understand, they have the minig to say Hallel, so they say Hallel, but they don't say the entire Hallel, and that's fine. Tana Yochad Lo Yaschil Hischil Gomer. So we learn in a brisa that an individual does not need to say Hallel on Rosh Chodesh, okay, but if he does, he says the whole thing, but I guess we don't necessarily pass him like that. Hey, Dvarim Iros Avosenu B'Shiva also B'Tammuz V'Chulei. So the Mishnah had said that there are 7 incidents that happened to our fathers on the 17th of Tammuz. Nishtabu Aluchis Minolan. How do we know that on the 17th of Tammuz the tablets were broken by Moshe Rabbeinu? The Tanya, as we learn in a brayso B'Shisha L'Chodesh, that on the 6th day of Sivan, Nitnu Aser Sadibris, the 10 commandments were given the Yisrael to the Yidden. Rabbi Yossi Omer B'Shivabo, says Rabbi Yossi was Taka the 7th day of Sivan. Manda Omer B'Shisha Nitnu B'Shiva Allah Moshe. According to Manda Omer, who says that the tablets were given on the 6th day of Sivan, so that's all fine and good, but Moshe Rabbeinu went up to Har Sinai on the 7th for 40 days. Madam B'Shiva Nidnu B'Shiva Allah, and according to Rabbi Yossi, who says that the 10 commandments were given on the 7th day of Sivan, so they were given on the 7th day, and Moshe Rabbeinu went up the mountain on the 7th day. Oichit. Moshe, Allah Moshe, fine. The pasuk says, Vayikra el Moshe b'yom hashvi, that the Eibishter calls out to Moshe on the 7th day. Uchsiv, and the pasuk says, Vayava Moshe b'socha onon, that Moshe went into the cloud, Vayal el ahar, and he went up to the mountain. Vayi Moshe b'har arboim yom, that Moshe Rabbeinu was on the mountain for 40 days, V'arboim laila, and 40 nights. Esrim v'arbo de Sivan, 24 days that were left in Sivan. V'shitzer the Tammuz, and 16 of Tammuz. Malalu Aiboyin b'shivser Tammuz, which means that on the 17th day of Tammuz is when the 40 days were complete. Nochis, also v'tavinu leluchis, and then when Moshe Rabbeinu came down from the mountain on the 17th day of Tammuz, Hitaka broke the tablets. Siv, and the pasuk says, Vayikaisher Karav Elamachne, that when Moshe Rabbeinu got close to the camp, Vayaris or Egel, he saw Taka the golden cap, Vayashlich Miyodav Esaluchis, and he threw out of his hands the tablets, Vayishabeosam Tachas Ahar, and he Taka broke them up under the mountain. So that happened on the 17th day of Tammuz. Batul Atomid Gemara. When the Mishnah says that also on the 17th day of Tammuz, the Korban Tamid ceased, they stopped offering the Korban Tamid, so that is just a tradition from our teachers. Huvkil Aha'ir Biyudzayin Havo. In fact, the Gemara, that the Mishnah says that on the 17th of Tammuz, the walls of Jerusalem were breached. Now, is that really true, that the walls of Jerusalem were breached on the 17th of Tammuz? But the pasuk says in Yirmiyah that it was in the 4th month in Tammuz, on the 9th day of the month, that there was famine in the city, and it says that the city was breached. So says Rava, well, it depends if we're talking about the first temple or the second temple. The Taanis, we learn in the brayso that in the first temple the walls of Jerusalem were breached on the 9th of Tammuz, whereas in the second temple the walls of Jerusalem were breached on the 17th of Tammuz. So about Pustumus, a Satire Gemara, when the Mishnah says that on the 17th of Tammuz, Apustumus, he burnt the Holy Torah. So that's also a tradition that we have from our teachers. Hemid Selim Behechol, Menashe put a getchke in the Heichel. Minolan, how do we know this? The pasuk says that when the Talmud was stopped being offered, i.e. on the 17th of Tammuz, that they put something disgusting, a getchke, in the Beis Hamikdash. Is it true that there was only one getchke? It says, multiple getchkes. So Amar Rava says, Rava Trei Avu, there were takatu v'nofel chal chave v'tavre le'liyoder. There were 2 getchkes, but one of them fell on the other one and broke his arm. Vishtikach ta'avaksiv ad tzovis lachuve beisa yoda ashlimas lei. And then it kind of, one getchke like said to the other one, you were going to destroy the temple, and now you lost your arm. Alright, so one getchke was missing the arm, so we don't count it. Okay, we only count the getchke that has an arm. Friends, that was Daf Chavches, Daf 28 of Masechta Taanis. We talked about these different days and families that would donate the wood to the Beis Hamikdash. We saw these very interesting stories about decrees against the Yidden, that they weren't allowed to bring bikurim to the temple or wood for the altar, and these different people made different sort of ruses in order to trick the guards and to nonetheless bring wood and first fruits to the temple. We learned about Hallel, which is very, very interesting, that Hallel and Rosh Chodesh is not Midah Oraisa, and that that there are 18 days when we say the entire Hallel, and in Chutzar it's 21 days. Very, very interesting stuff. And then at the end we talked about the different things that happen on Shiva Asar B'Tammuz. Friends, that was Daf Chavches of Masechta Taanis. I hope, of course, you enjoyed. Have a great day. Peace out.